Hello everybody, and welcome to this little flight tutorial for the Beechcraft Baron. I will do this simply, start up the aircraft from cold and dark, then take off and land using the ILS system. So I'm only going to touch things that are relevant to that. With that in mind, let's have a look at what I've set up here. So I take off from Roskilde, as it's called, a small airport. Set up this ramp 2 as my departure. I've chosen instrument flight rules, and then I have taken Copenhagen Airport runway 12, making sure that it's ILS runway 12 I've chosen as my arrival. And for the sake of this tutorial, I have set the weather to clear skies with some clouds. So that's the setup. In instrument flight rules, get a gate or a parking place to take off from so we can start the aircraft, and then ensuring that there is an ILS approach we have chosen here. So let's, with that in mind, let's go into the aircraft itself. And here we are in the aircraft itself. So let's get started on turning this one on. So first things first, let's get the batteries activated, the alternators. Now we start seeing the instruments coming alive. Let's get ready for starting the engine. So the fuel selectors there, and we want full mixture, the propellers fully forward, a little bit of throttle, and then we turn on the fuel booster pumps for just a little while. And while that is happening, I'm just gonna put on some lights. Yeah, and then we can turn this off, and that should prime our engines. And then we can get our magnetos turned over. And that should have both engines up and running very nicely. So, engines up and running. Just going to throttle back. And yeah, so the aircraft itself is now more or less ready, except we need to turn on the navigation. So that is there. That is the avionics master I just turned on. I have it mapped to a controller on my HOTAS. And then we press enter to activate it. So there we go. Everything seems to be up and running. So let's get our clearance and get our initial altitude. And then it's time for taxi and takeoff. But first things first, let's get our clearance.
Tower Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 IFR to Castrup, ready to copy.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 is cleared to Castrup Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 29er climb and maintain 2,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.455 squawk 1247.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 cleared to Castrup Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 29er climb and maintain 2,000 feet. Departure on 118.455 squawk 1247.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 readback is correct. Contact ground on 118.9er when ready to taxi. Good day.
Okay, that is our clearance. Now looking at the map, it wants me to do a few legs back and forth before I go into the airport, which is out here. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is normally I would just turn on the navigation mode, and that will have the aircraft follow this plan. What I will do instead is set it into heading mode and then have that heading putting me north. We can see the heading bug is here. So that is actually now set, and we can see it's indicated here that it is in heading mode. The other thing I would like to do is to ensure that the altitude is set correctly. So it wants me to start at 2,000 feet. So let me get this to 2,000. Then I prefer vertical speed. So that's indicated there, also here. And then I want to control my climb rate, and I want that to be about 500 feet per minute. So that is used by these two knobs. So what I'm expecting to happen is when I take off and I enable the autopilot, it's going to turn north and it's going to start climbing with 500 feet per minute. So I believe we are just about set. So let's taxi to the
Sierra Alpha Sierra
runway.
081 with Kilo ready to taxi IFR.
Yeah, so now we are at the runway. So let's get our clearance for takeoff.
Roskilde Tower Bex Gaming Sierra
And
Alpha Sierra
then I usually
081
set
runway 29er
one,
ready for departure IFR to Kastrup.
with this size of this runway, I set 1 notch of flaps here.
NH-29er to wind 266 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway 29er.
Okay, so we got our clearance.
Cleared for takeoff runway 29er Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081.
So I usually double check at this point if everything is set. So let's go in and see. So I have my heading set to north. It's indicated up here. I have my vertical speed enable. It's ready with 500 feet per minute. I have my flaps set 1 notch. And yeah, everything seems to be good. Mixture full, propellers fully forward. So yeah, I think we are ready to go. So throttling up. And this is approximately 100 feet per minute. Sorry, 100 knots. So, and gear up, got a positive climb. Flaps retracted and enabling autopilot. And what I will do now, instead of throttling back, I'm gonna ease back on the propellers and control the speed with that instead.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 contact Kastrup approach on 118.455. Good day.
Okay, handoff.
118.455 Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081.
Okay, so we are in the air, we are in our climb, about 900 feet coming up, so while that is happening, while we're going north, right? So I want to go up approximately here and then turn in for this approach to the airport down here somewhere. So north is still good. I'm gonna throttle back a little bit to reduce our speed, just a little bit. So at this point, it's a good time to check if the ILS frequencies are set correctly, because that doesn't always happen. They're not always set correctly. So what I'm looking for is to ensure that this nav1 is my ILS frequency. And I know for a fact that this airport, for runway 12, the right frequency is 109.9, so that's wrong. So what I do is I turn this one, so let me hide that. Then the inner knob is for the big number, so that is the full digits, so 109. And then the outer knob here is the smaller changes. So 109.9, and then to swap it, I click this button. So that actually now already captured the say KA, which is the identification we're looking for on that frequency. Then next, once I'm closer, so right now this is my GPS, this is the plan it wants me to follow. But down here, when I change CDI, I change what it will aim for. So it switches between the flight plan GPS and these navigation indications. So it actually already now captured my localizer, so I will let it stay there. So once I'm closer and I want to activate my localizer and glide slope, then it's time to hit this approach mode button. But let's get to that once we are somewhat closer to the airport I need to arrive at.
Castrop approach Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 1900 feet. Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 Castrop approach QNH 29.2 continue as planned.
And there is my QNH.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081
Okay,
climb and maintain
3000. Let's do that first. Acknowledge instructions, so
Climb and maintain
3000.
3000 feet. Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha
Oops,
Sierra
that's not
081.
what I wanted. So the altitude, 3000. Vertical speed again, click that and then indicate the climb rate. And let's do 700 feet per minute. The next thing is we're checking the QNH, which is indicated here. So we were told 29.92, that's still fine. Otherwise you would change that in here. Okay, and on our plan, it's actually already time to make a turn. We should see this coming in, but let's do a northeast approach. So let's turn this to about here. So that should shortly start. Oh, here we go. It's already getting closer. So let's start lining up already. We actually just slightly passed it, but we can correct that. So let's do that right away. So we want this one to align with this one. That indicates we are on the right path. So I'm doing a more right turn so we can go back and capture this. And we're just about there. Just waiting for this one to go there, and then I will turn the aircraft, and I know I need to be at 120 degrees because that is the runway name. It's runway 12. Okay, what we can also see is that the glide slope indicator is actually already up here. So the glide slope is above us, But that's perfectly fine because we are aligned with the runway. And if we take a look out, we can't see it yet. It is out there somewhere. Can't see it yet, but I expect it to be somewhere out there. So yeah, I think we're all set. So next thing is to capture the glide slope and configure for landing.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 12 approach by Kilo Alpha Sierra transition. Cleared to Kilo Alpha Sierra. Maintain present heading
Okay,
and altitude.
accepting
Expect
approach,
ILS runway
and now is a good time to look at our glide slope. It is coming down, so I will enable the approach mode and localizer. So this is indicating that it is capturing the localizer and it is capturing the glide slope, and we're starting to descend along with the glide slope. So now it's time to start setting up and configuring for landing. So we got the runway out there, so let's get ready. Pulling back on propellers ever so slightly to reduce our airspeed. And at this time I will do what I did at landing, which is actually to put the propellers fully forward and throttle back. Right, next thing I will do is give myself 1 notch of flaps.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081, you are 700 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 3,000 feet QNH29er.9er2.
Yeah, I won't do that because then I can't land. So that's probably gonna bother me all the way up until landing. Okay, so flaps is set. We're in the glide slope. We're still a bit far out, I think, for landing gear, but yeah, let's get that going anyways. So here comes the landing gear. Very, very nice. And mistake, I pulled them up again. Wrong button. There we go. Right. Okay, speed. Gotta watch our speed. So this is my stall speed. I think I would like to achieve a around 80 knots when at touchdown. Would be good. And I think that's it.
Sierra Alpha Sierra 081, please. Expedite your climb 3,000 feet.
We're configured for landing, so when I'm about, I don't know, 1,000 feet above the ground, or maybe 500, I'll disable the autopilot and land the aircraft. And once I have touchdown, or I'm just, I don't know, 10 or 20 feet above the runway, I will idle the throttle and let it kind of just settle on the runway by itself. And once I have touchdown, I will start braking.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081, you are 5 miles northwest of Castro.
Throttling back ever so slightly, going a little fast.
118.7 when inbound on the approach.
Okay, so I need to contact the tower.
118.7 Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081. Castrop Tower Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081, 4 miles northwest inbound ILS runway 12
Again,
approach.
watching that airspeed.
Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 Castrop Tower. QNH29er.9er2 wind 266 at 7. Cleared ILS runway 12 approach. Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081 wind 266 at 7. Cleared to land runway 12.
So I have my landing clearance.
Runway 12 Bex Gaming Sierra Alpha Sierra 081.
Okay, so now would be a good time to take control. So autopilot off and then watching the pappies instead. So I'm a little high.
500.
I'm drifting. Seems to be a bit of wind. Speed is too high. Pulling back on the speed. And now the wind kind of settled down ever so slightly. Descent rate is too high, it's 600, throttling up a little bit and pulling back on the stick for the flare and then idling the throttle. And we got touchdown and braking. And that is it. That's it. That's how you land this one. Not entirely too complicated, as long as you got the ILS set up correctly, and yeah, then it's a pretty easy setup. So thank you for watching. If there are other videos or instructions you would like to see, just let me know, and I'll see if I can get something put together for you. So thank you and have a wonderful day.